Hey everyone, I was not planning on going live right today. I feel like crap, but we have ransom note number 6 for Nancy Guthrie. And I'm going to go ahead and say it's bullshit, but we're going to look into it and we're going to talk about it. There's that. I'm trying to get everything set up because I just immediately went live. So give me a second here. Mm. Ooh. Let me see. Pause this one. And then I want to check out. Give me a thing set up. Because, like I said, I just like boom went fast. So, okay, he's showing that. All right. All right. I think we're good. I think we're good. Okay. So, ransom note number 6. I knew this was going to draw people out. I said it the other day. There's going to be more. So, here. I'll make it bigger. Okay, this is from TMZ. Guess who received ransom note number 6? TMZ. God, he looks like shit. Look at him. Oh my god. Damn.
Today is Friday, June 26th, and we have received another email from the man who says he knows who Nancy Guthrie's kidnappers are and can lead the FBI to those kidnappers for 1 Bitcoin. So the man
For 1 Bitcoin. 1. I don't know. There's just some things I'm like,
writes that he has clearly been following things we've been saying, questioning the FBI telling us that the person who wrote this might be a female. The person does not say he's a male for sure, but he puts a big question mark there. And then also puts a question mark where we say we might be doing a documentary. So he says in this
quick, they have not confirmed if they are doing a doc.
email that he is not, as he puts it, I am not the idiot who recently called in a tip about her burial site in Mexico. He goes on to say, only 2 are directly involved, and I doubt they would be the ones calling to snitch on themselves. So he has said to us before that there were multiple kidnappers and there was a main kidnapper, but definitely plural kidnappers. He has said that before.
Yeah, we kind of thought there was like there was more than 1. I want to say 2, possibly 3. The third one would be in the getaway car.
In this email, which, by the way, we have sent to the FBI, he says that he has video. He has video
Ooh.
of Nancy Guthrie with the main kidnapper on what probably would be the last day of her life. That's
I want to call bullshit on this. They've definitely have been watching TMZ about all this coverage, and I have a sneaking suspicion I know who it is that's manufacturing this, if that makes any sense. But if you're the person who wrote this email and you see this live, please email me. My email is on my, on my channel up at the top. Hit more. There's my email. Send me an email, please, because I want to know.
the way he puts it here. He says, while what it contains is my definition of delivering it on a silver platter, a short video of the main guy with Nancy the day that was probably her last. He also says that he has names, addresses, phone numbers of the kidnappers. Now,
Hmm.
he says he has that video in a phone, and the phone is turned off. It is in a secure, secret location, but a location easy to find if you know where to look. That's what he says. He doesn't say his
That is no, that just does not sound right. I get it. It's evidence. They want to keep it in a secure location. I would too, but I don't know. This just seems like this is far fetched and too much bullshit.
safe deposit box. but he says easy to find if you know where to look. And he says that if he gets a Bitcoin, he will deliver, as he puts it, on a silver platter, exactly how to get access to this phone, including the
I'm
password.
sure.
So he did not. This is clearly the guy who has been sending us these emails, because he says that the Bitcoin address he gave us before is no longer working, and he actually wrote the Bitcoin address down, and it does match what we.
Okay, so quick thing. So Alex, we all know who Alex is. He was checking that account a couple days ago, and it looked like it was still active maybe, I don't know. But I don't know, I just think this is complete bullshit. I don't know.
Saw previously, and we've never reported that. He gives a new Bitcoin address, and he says he wants a Bitcoin, and in return, he will basically deliver access to that phone, as he puts it, a silver platter. So look, we've sent it to the FBI, and this has become such a cat and mouse game.
Mhm.
If this person is real, then go to wherever that phone is and get a screen grab of something proving that you're not a liar and somebody who is
Yes.
trying to inflict more pain on the Guthrie family. If you've got something, send it. I mean, you've been sending us more than a dozen
Yes. Get something so you can prove that you're actually a legit person.
emails. Send us something to show you're not a fraudster. We'll obviously send that on to the FBI. But if you have that information, I would assume, I don't know, but I would assume that they would play ball with you. But send us something, because there are a lot of fraudsters out there.
Yep.
And we have been open, and we were allowed to say this. We know the FBI is still looking for you, and they believe you might be real, but they must have enough doubt that they haven't paid you the money. And it's clear you're frustrated, but the question is, are you a fraudster? And send us something. Send us a screen grab of something that would allow authorities to say, this guy's the real deal, and maybe they will deal with you.
What do you guys think? Do you guys think it's legit? I kinda wanna say it's somebody because with the news coming out about Nancy, passing away, and then all of a sudden another email gets sent. I wanna know, what do you guys think? What do you oh, I don't know, I just think it's complete bullshit. Let's see here, you guys can see all this. Okay, what's he talking about? 15 minutes ago, let's see him.
It has officially been a
Here we go.
gird your grandmas, because Sheriff Harvey Levin just got another letter about Nancy Guthrie. It has officially been 145 days since Nancy Guthrie went missing, and Sheriff Harvey got another letter from this mystery man that claims to have information on who took Nancy Guthrie. Okay, here's your Nancy Benet Ramsey update. So according to Sheriff Harvey, this mystery man that has the T has been watching the coverage. And first of all, he seems kind of offended that the FBI thinks that he may be a woman. So maybe he's not a man, maybe he's not a woman, maybe he's a they them. Because at this rate, like, why not? And they them apparently also doesn't like that TMZ wants to do a documentary about all of this. And they them makes it clear that they are not the idiots, as they describe them, who called in and gave a random tip about Nancy Guthrie being buried in Mexico. But according to they them, there are two old lady snatchers. And they them has video of Nancy Guthrie and what appears to be her final day alive. They have video with Nancy Guthrie and her old lady snatchers, okay? And apparently they them also has names, addresses, phone numbers of these old lady snatchers. And all of this information is on a secret phone. And the secret phone is locked away in a secret location. I swear, I'm not shitting you. Like, this is where we're at in the investigation. It sounds like I'm making this up. It sounds like I just chat GBT the fake story that I'm trying to give you, and this is not even fake. This is what Harvey Levin gave us today. But they them is saying that they're willing to give the authorities the location, the secret location of the secret phone that has all of the information, in exchange for 1 Bitcoin. Okay? And at this point, I'm ready to pay the damn Bitcoin. How much is a Bitcoin? How much?
Okay, hold on. So, I kinda wonder if either A, it's like somebody just wants their 15 minutes of fame and is running their mouth, Or B, there is video on this phone, but you don't see their faces. More of a haha, gotcha fuckers. But they know that the Bitcoin can be traced. So I don't understand. Oh my God. Stupid people.
A Bitcoin is $60,000. Who's in? Because I'm ready to bring this lady home. It's time that we get.
Okay. So they want one Bitcoin, which is worth $60,000. He just looked it up. I can look it up and show you if you want me to. But Savannah Guthrie, they've got $1 million reward. No, I would take the $1 million. I would do the right thing, but here, give me the million. I'll tell you where the phone's at. I would want more than $60,000.
Get Miss Nancy out of the clearance bin and bring her home. I ain't got time for no Wordle. I am ready to bring Nancy home. Who is in? Let's collectively put together the Bitcoin so that we can pay the man to get the secret location of the secret phone that has the evidence of Nancy Guthrie with her old lady snatchers. My head hurts.
This reminds me of the game Clue. It was the doctor or whatever in the kitchen. Or was Colonel Mustard in the kitchen with the candlestick, but the candlestick's not there. It's upstairs and behind a book. That's what this freaking reminds me of.
I'm breaking more of it down on today's episode of the podcast, No Filter with Zach Peters, so be sure to subscribe and
I like
tune
this
in.
guy. He's pretty cool. He is pretty cool. Let's go and see what other people are talking about. Update. New ransom demanded Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. The search for an 84-year-old February 1st has encountered yet another disturbing development. The demand, media outlets, including TMZ, have reported receiving new communication from wait. So, wait. Hey. Media outlets, including TMZ. So more than one media outlet got this? Have reported receiving new communication from anonymous source claiming to hold definitive evidence regarding the kidnapping. So you're telling me this person, instead of just going to TMZ, sent it out to more than one media outlet? Totally fake. This is fake. It's got to be. Because I'm pretty sure Savannah's old news station got the first one and the second one. TMZ got 3, possibly 4 now. 4. Wait. Yeah, I think we're on 6 right now. Let me see the evidence. The sender claims to have hidden a cell phone in a secure accessible location. This device allegedly contains photos, addresses, and short video identifying the main guy involved in the abduction. Who puts addresses in cell phones? I don't do that. I don't put addresses with my friends. I just text them or message them like, hey bitch, what's your address? Okay. The terms. Consistent with previous communications, the individual is demanding 1 Bitcoin, valued at approximately I'm gonna have to go because now this one's 7,000 off from what the guy said. Let's just say between $60,000 and $70,000. We're just gonna go with that. Actually, you know what? Medium, 65,000. We'll just go with that number. In exchange for the password to access the device's password. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna Google her because now Nancy Guthrie. I'm Googling her. Let me see here. 1 day ago, 2 hours ago. That's TMZ. 3 hours ago, the News International, New York Post. Okay, let's finish reading this and then we're gonna go look at some news stuff. The sender wait. Okay, the sender explicitly distincts whatever themselves from previous tips regarding her alleged burial site in Mexico, dismissing those reports as illegitimate. See, I can pronounce that word, but I can't fucking pronounce that word. What the fuck? Dyslexia sucks. It is critical to maintain perspective on the nature of these communications since Guthrie's disappearance in February. A history of scams. Law enforcement and media have been inundated, whatever. Y'all, somebody needs to clip me every time I can't pronounce a word. I would love to see this video. With fraudulent ransom notes, many experts, including former FBI personnel, have labeled the majority of these solicitations as opportunistic. God damn it. Scams attempting to exploit a high-profile tragedy. Official response: the FBI and Pima County Sheriff Sheriff's office are aware of these messages while they monitor all leads. Officials have continued that these unsolicited pay for access tips, hold on a second, are rarely productive and often serve to distract from the official investigative efforts. Oh my god. Oh. Status of the case as of late June 2026, Nathan Guthrie has not been located. Okay, so I was scrolling through TikTok last night and this woman comes up and she's like, "Yeah, I asked ChatGPT, what's going on with the Nancy Guthrie case?" And supposedly ChatGPT told her that Nancy had already been found. I was like, "Girl." So I went to my ChatGPT. No, no. Let me see. Status of the case. Guthrie has not been located. The FBI continues to process digital and forensic evidence gathered from the scene of the abduction. Okay, hold on. We're gonna go here. Okay, let me see. Let me refresh in case any news articles have been posted 1 hour ago. Page 6. What is page 6? Let's see what they gotta say. Person claims to have video of Nancy Guthrie with kidnapper in a bombshell new ransom letter. Oh my god. I bet you this is totally fake. No. A person claimed to be in possession of a video of Nancy Guthrie with her kidnapper in a bombshell new ransom letter. The letter was emailed to TMZ and read in part, "I have a phone stashed in a secure location, guaranteeing both the information it stores and the safety of the phone." It's either in a safe in somebody's home, in a safe buried in a ground, concrete, or it's in one of those, the fuck are those called? Where you go in a bank and you get one of those little key lock box things? I can't think of what the hell those are called. I don't have one. I've never needed one. Um, what it contains is, my definition of delivering the kidnappers on a silver platter in a short video of the main guy with Nancy the day that was probably her last. Okay, so wording here. So the second ransom note or the second note, s- it seemed apologetic. It seemed like empathetic. And they said, "Time is no longer of the essence. Has passed." Okay. It literally said that. Now, this person claims they know who took her, got their addresses, phone numbers, everything they need to know, and video with their supposedly, I'm taking a guess, with their faces in it. I don't know. But it says right here, let me see, a short video of the main guy with Nancy the day that was probably her last. This person don't even know when she died. That's what I'm taking from that. Oh, what the heck? See, picture of both involved, names and addresses and age. Okay, that's weird. I don't put addresses and their age. Who puts their addresses and age? Okay, I can see addresses. Some older people might do that, but who the fuck puts age in there? Hold on. I gotta get a drink of water. Let's see here. According to the outlet, the person claims there are two kidnappers involved in the disappearance of Savannah Guthrie's 84-year-old mom. I bet she was like I bet she was like the mom to, like, all her friends and anybody she met. Even little kids, like, riding their bikes up and down the road. I bet she was. There was an old lady that used to live over by us when I was really little. She used to bake me cookies all the time. Kidnapper and a ransom letter. What is this? I don't know what that is. Let me see. The individual goes on to claim that the phone is in a location easy to access if you know where it is. That's I bet I wanna say I bet it's hiding in plain sight. I'll bet you anything, and I bet the kidnappers are hiding in plain sight. Okay? Yeah, I bet they are. You see, adding that they will give TMZ the password to the phone in exchange for a deposit into a new Bitcoin wallet. The outlet has the outlet has authenticated that the new email is from the same person who sent them previous ransom notes. Okay. Yeah, this is totally fake. I shouldn't even be like talking about this. Claiming the individual used the same alias in reference to an old Bitcoin address that matches the one mentioned earlier in the case. Additionally, the sender made sure to know I am not the idiot who recently called the tip about her burial site in Mexico. Let me see. I am gonna butcher that, but this is the volunteer group right here. Buscando Corazones. I see. I'm totally butchering it. So we're just gonna say the volunteer group in Mexico. Volunteer Mexico or the volunteer group. See, a group that works to locate missing people in Mexico said they received a tip stating that a grave belonging to Nancy might have been found, which ignited a massive search effort. That's new. Let me see. A tip stating that a grave belonging to Nancy might have been found. That's interesting. Because I just said a couple days ago, it's either going to be how they're going to find her is somebody's going to be hiking and they happen to stumble across like a bone or something sticking out of the ground, or one of the kidnappers is going to run their mouth and that's how they're caught. That I didn't know that. In response to the new ransom letter, which they have forwarded to the FBI, TMZ asked the person to send them a screenshot of Nancy from the alleged video. We're gonna have to keep an eye out for that because as soon as that goes, if that actually happens and they do get a screenshot, oh, it's this case it's gonna just explode wide open. It's gonna get good. I see. Okay. The outlet also insists the sender of the email is male, saying he scoffed at the FBI's belief that the sender might be female. A rep for the FBI did not immediately respond to page 6 request for comment. However, a rep for Pima County Sheriff Department, which has been handling the case since Nancy I just hit my mic. Was abducted from her Arizona home on February 1st, told Page 6 the investigation into the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie remains active and ongoing. The oh my God, the Pima County Sheriff's Department continues to work closely with the FBI as investigators follow up on leads, review information, and pursue the facts surrounding the case. Let me see here. I want to see. I want to see if Pima County put anything out on their Pima County Sheriff's Department. I'm not even following them. Hold on, let me see if they got anything. Roadways. No, they didn't. They haven't. Nope, it's just about closures. Oh, man, I'm telling y'all. Let's refresh in case there's something new. News Nation. There's probably going to be an ad. Nope.
About the person.
Well, this tells me some level of sophistication. Again, first of all, they cannot trace those IP addresses. Second of all, I think this whole note is malarkey, meaning nobody writes a ransom note like this. I don't think this was a soft sell. I think this was completely self-serving for this person whenever they are caught, that it looks like, oh, they're contrite, they're sorry. This was just a flowery, I'm sorry letter. It wasn't even a ransom note. And so that's my take. I also really believe this could be an English as a second language person that used AI to write this note.
Andrew, different take.
Sorry. I was looking.
Yeah, when I look at
News
this,
Nation, we can watch.
I think we're giving the notes a little too much credit here. First, we have to authenticate the notes. Are these really the kidnappers who are writing these notes? Seemingly, it's credible because the author of those notes, in the first note particularly, provided information that either the kidnappers would have, the family would have, or law enforcement. But to me, that's not enough because how well secure was that crime scene the first couple of days?
Wasn't secure at all.
That information could have been leaked out to individuals who we've seen already try to exploit the Guthries because of this tragic situation. So I'm not convinced the notes are legitimate. It might be, but I think it's too early to legitimize it, but I'm not saying they're fraudulent either. Additionally, if this is a legitimate kidnapper, why didn't they provide proof of life? Those are the rules of ransom. Kidnap someone, demonstrate proof of life, and then collect the money. And we don't have that here.
Coffin Dapper, does the person who wrote these notes look like the person we saw on the porch, in your opinion?
No.
No, it doesn't. I believe there's an accomplice. I do believe, with all respect to Mr. Black, I do believe that they're real, and this is why the FBI, I don't believe, in my experience, would put up that sort of a dissertation from the family. They had BAU, they used all of that to actually make the presentation begging basically for proof of life. That would not happen if the FBI didn't legitimately believe these notes were real. And Savannah says they're real.
Right. Should they have paid, Andrew? I know the FBI says we don't think there's enough here, but is it wrong to be like filled with regret when then you get that second letter?
Well, you have to look at it logically. If the kidnappers did have Nancy, all they had to do was provide evidence that she was alive, then I would definitely pay the ransom. They didn't provide that. They had information they could have gotten elsewhere. I'm not saying that the ransom notes were not authentic or these aren't the kidnappers, but we just don't know at this point, and I don't like to speculate.
Man. Hold on. News Nation has something over here. Let's go make sure. Okay. Did investigators miss opportunity to bring Nancy Guthrie home? I don't know why that just did that. Oh. Here we go. Okay, hold on.
Hey everybody, welcome to Jesse Weber Live.
41
So
minutes?
tonight,
Jesus
a
Christ.
big new development in the search for Nancy Guthrie. Did investigators make a mistake? Did they miss a big opportunity to bring Nancy home? We'll talk about that. Plus, where do we stand with Israel right now? The changing global landscape has created divisions, that's clear. But what we want to do is have an honest, important conversation. We want to explore why a relationship with the Jewish state is important, why it's vital, but also the challenges. The challenges of navigating.
Okay, we're gonna skip through that. It's not what we're here for. Sucks, but it's not what we're here for. Come on.
Don't like, you wouldn't name them by name, but after the reporting here, you got to maybe put two and two together. Kelly Meyer, good to see you. Thanks so much.
Okay, here he goes.
Good to see you too.
All
Thank
right,
you.
over now to what is just a new report in the Nancy Guthrie case. So some members of the joint FBI Pima County Sheriff's Task Force that's investigating Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, they are reportedly questioning whether they missed a crucial opportunity in the early days of this case. The opportunity? A $4 million crypto ransom demand in exchange for Nancy Guthrie's safe return. That investigators, they answered with just $152 in Bitcoin. That's what's being reported by a former New York Times writer named Howard Blum for an outlet called Airmail. Now, the Nancy Guthrie family, they received multiple ransom communications, but the one that was sent on February 2nd, the day after Nancy disappeared, that was the one that stood out. According to Airmail, it accurately described what Nancy was wearing the night that she was apparently kidnapped, and it mentioned this damaged floodlight in the backyard. So these are details that investigators believed.
I want to know, can anybody answer this? The letter mentioned the damaged floodlight in the back, okay? The FBI or whoever got stills from all these cameras. Why was there not like a still of somebody or in like an outline of somebody? Somebody riddle me this. That's why I can't figure out, unless they actually have something and they're holding it tied to the vest. But I don't know.
Lent credibility to that demand, lent credibility to the note. The note also provided a Bitcoin wallet where the money was supposed to be sent. But again, instead of transferring the full $4 million, investigators reportedly deposited just $152 into that Bitcoin wallet as part of a strategy that was designed to see whether the suspects would move the money, would reveal their identities. It's called tickling the wire. They never did. The money has reportedly sat untouched for months. And now comes the question, should investigators have paid? My next guest might know. Todd Spodek,
I want to know, do you guys think they should have paid? I kind of think they should have put it in the Bitcoin because it can be traced.
cybercrime attorney who has handled some of the country's most high-profile fraud and crypto cases, currently representing Ronald Spector, who's accused of masterminding a $16 million phishing scam. Good to see you. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You made a lot of news in the New York Post. I saw your comments about it.
Yes.
Should they have paid the $4 million?
It's really not fair to analyze this from this point and decide whether they should or should not have.
Well, the only reason I'm saying is the reporting that they might be saying we're second guessing what happened.
But that's always going to be the case.
Okay.
They could have paid $4 million and it could have gone nowhere. The issue is that any sophisticated cyber criminal is going to take that cryptocurrency and they're not going to put it in a position where they could trace it. They're not going to use an exchange that has real pedigree information or IP addresses or social security numbers or date of births or anything. They're going to do things to mask it. And so what the FBI is hoping is that they would use a real currency exchange like Coinbase or something where they could use it to tickle the wire to get a lead to other investigative information.
How, I was remembering when that was happening, and I actually talked with a former FBI agent today, and he's like, there was so much talk on the media. So many pundits came on who said they're cybersecurity experts who will track it. They'll be able to, it might have scared the people off. I mean, what is the ability to actually track this money down and track the identities of the people?
It's twofold, right? So one, you have to have the information on the exchange, and then you have to have law enforcement that's actively seeking leads and using external sources. It's the combination of the two that could lead them to the actual culprit. It's not just one. So it's old-fashioned detective work and the information on the exchange.
Why didn't they take the money?
Why didn't the actual individuals take the money?
$152. Why didn't they
because if they were to withdraw that money or do something with it, it could have led them to another source. It could have led them to something.
Bigger question. Does it give you an idea about who they are? So this is an interesting point. Now there's a conversation. You talk about multiple people. Is it the same person, the masked guy on the porch, the same person making the demands, the same person allegedly writing these notes? Because they believe, authorities, based on the reporting, that the two notes, the first one and the second one, were written by the same.
So, quick sidebar. So my son is going to school for like computer programming stuff. I'm going to call him in here. I'm going to mute my mic and I'm going to talk to him. And if he actually knows, because I'm not sure if he really knows, how like easy it would be. You can hear it from somebody who is like actively doing it instead of, like, I don't know if these guys are holding anything back, but I'm going to ask him questions and see if he knows.
People. Do you think there's multiple people here? Is this a sophisticated
I
operation?
really don't. I deal with a lot of these types of cases, and if you look at the evidence here, you look at that video, you look at him having the gun in his waist, you look at him moving, the tree to sort of block the camera. This doesn't look like a very sophisticated scam. It doesn't look like organized crime. It really looks like a situation that evolved to something they weren't planned for. I think there was a potential to get money for this situation, and they blew the opportunity, and I think they made a fatal mistake, and it's just horrible all around.
There's another conversation. Did they panic? That they didn't think that Nancy, there was at one point they didn't know who Nancy was. There's another conversation that she might have, like in the second note, that she might have died.
Absolutely.
This was an older woman. They panicked, and they may have felt bad. I mean, there's mixed reporting on whether or not they apologized or not in the note.
Yeah, I think that anything could happen. I think this is like a fluid situation, right? They may have gotten involved thinking this was going to be a quick get-rich scam and they were going to be able to get money out of it and move on. And now they're involved in this basically homicide conspiracy, which is not what they signed up for, and I don't think that's the reality here. So I do think they got scared.
Well, if they really feel bad, why not really reveal where her body is? They say she's buried with nature.
Yeah, that's a fair question.
Right?
I hope they do.
I mean, assuming they're telling the truth about it. I mean, look, this is interesting. There's an FBI source who spoke to TMZ who said they believe the case is ultimately going to be solved, that someone's going to come forward, a friend, an accomplice, a former partner, you get more information out there. Is that how a case like this is typically getting solved? And by the way, we're having a conversation about notes that were sent in February. It's June.
Yeah,
but it's
absolutely.
never too late for somebody to do the right thing.
I think the FBI source is correct in that there's a lot of opportunities for people to speak. People get arrested on other cases, they get in trouble, and there's always a connection to someone who has information. And ultimately, it's very easy for someone to have loose lips and start talking when it's convenient for them, when there's an advantage to them. And I think that's how these cold cases get broken. And you see that all the time. You see the FBI be able to break these cases that are decades old because someone came forward with new information. And I think that's a real possibility here.
Big news. There was a former FBI agent
Hold
who
on, I'm
went on
still
Megyn
talking
Kelly's
to
show
him.
and basically said she believes that, for whatever information she has, that the porch guy is going to be identified and arrested soon. TMZ, there's a separate TMZ report that came out just a few hours ago. It says law enforcement sources, they're not close to an arrest this week, that they're not closer than they were this week than they were 2 weeks ago. They're still waiting for a key piece of evidence to break the case. What do we make of this?
I mean, I think that anyone who's involved in this conspiracy, who put themselves in the spotlight, put themselves on video, put themselves in a position where they're sending notes, there is a risk that they're going to get caught. And I think law enforcement is moving quickly. They're following up on leads, they're following up on sources, and all you need.
Okay. So my son's going to school for computer programming. That's what he does. He's not cybersecurity. I asked him about the Bitcoin thing. He has no clue about that. But what he does at school is he writes programs. He makes programs. Okay. He said that you can write a program to take the money out of the Bitcoin account without you actually having to do it. If that makes sense. I know there are, if you know about Bitcoin, I know there's probably this stuff out there, but he's pretty much, you can write a program to take the Bitcoin out of the account and put it into maybe like another account or do whatever you want with it without it being traced back to you, right?
I don't know about that part. We haven't done anything with tracing.
Well, okay, well then, is there any way that you can write a program to go in and modify another program without you actually physically doing it? Without it being traced back to you?
Probably. Not sure.
He's like, probably not sure. He's in his first year, so I'm really picking his brain. I mean, I'm sure you can do that if you're super smart and you're tech savvy. Yeah, he just said you can write a program just to do about anything, but you need to know how to write the program. So let's say, if these emails to TMZ about the Bitcoin thing is like legit, I just lost 2 people in here talking about this. Nobody wants to educate themselves.
You're welcome.
But no, like, I forgot what I was talking about now. Oh, so yeah, they basically could write a program to go in and use its own IP, own whatever, take the money out and put it into whatever account that's not attached to them. I mean, that's pretty much what they can do. So that's the only thing I can think of that they would do, because the TMZ emails are so hardcore onto the Bitcoin. But I don't know. The Bitcoin's only worth $65,000 right now. And there's a new ransom note that just popped up today. There's number 6 in the Nancy Guthrie case. Yeah, it's a whole stupid thing. Okay, I'm sorry. I just wanted to educate a little bit. If I'm wrong, blame my son.
Blame me.
He goes, blame me. But yeah, I just wanted to, let that sink in too.
Need is an incremental movement to make that arrest. You don't need everything.
Right.
All you need is that probable cause. You need enough to move the needle from here to there.
You know what I didn't even ask you yet, and it's the number one question I had. Can you track the IP addresses? So if they're assuming that the digital notes were sent by the same person, same computer, what do you do? How do you track the proxy servers?
Absolutely. You could track multiple things. You could track the IP. You could track who is paying for that service, right? If they're using the internet, if they're using a phone, who's paying for that cell phone, what emails connected to it, what cell phone numbers connected to it. But
I have to imagine they did that already, no?
Right. And any criminal that is at all intelligent is going to mask that of any level.
How do you
right?
mask it?
See, he just said what? He just said that you can track all of that, the pretty much the Bitcoin link, because you gotta have an account for it. You've got to pay for your Wi-Fi or IP address, whatever. They haven't came up with anything, so that's kind of making me wonder if they're doing if they're writing a program specifically for that I don't even know how I want to put it. That's not, I don't know how I want to put this. If they specifically wrote a program it could make a fake link. It could be on a different Wi-Fi. Like, you would think they would have had something by now, because somebody's got to pay for literally internet access.
It's easy to mask your IP address, to hide, a little bit of the details, not use your real name when you sign up for an account, not use your real email or real number.
But they believe it. They already have enough information to believe it came from the same source.
Yeah, but that could just be on patterns. That doesn't mean that they have the actual details they need. It could just be based on the communications, on the form that they use, and the methodology they use.
What's interesting about this case, I go back and forth whether this was a sophisticated but at this, because you did look at the video,
It's not sophisticated. I think it's clear that it's not.
But there's no, they haven't left anything behind. There's been no arrest. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Well, we don't fully know what's been left behind. We only know what the media's been reporting. And I think that if this was that sophisticated, there would be a different outcome here, right? They wouldn't have done it that way. I really do feel that way.
You mean the way that they abducted?
Yeah, it just doesn't strike me as organized crime. It doesn't.
Todd Spodek, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on. Really appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so we have breaking news out of Venezuela.
Okay. I've been on the fence. I'm like, oh, are they actually smart people? Like, are they not smart people? I know JLR is live right now. Let's see what he's talking about.
A lot of these print-on-demand companies were just providing black shirts, black hoodies, white shirts, just generic clothing that I didn't,
print it, did something on their computer or whatever to make it look like an email and printed it out.
See what? I'm just going to skip through all the way up to where he's at now. What the hell? Come on.
Bombshell stuff. I'm kind of reading this report. My phone has been blowing up, and I appreciate the jail.
Blah, 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 blah.
In just the last few days. Now, TMZ is reporting
playing my music
that they received a ransom demand. I'm going to actually get the article and then play Harvey Levin talking about it. Came out an hour ago. New Nancy Guthrie. We'll put Nancy and Savannah because those are the two people focused on this whole thing. Nobody wants to talk about Annie and Tommaso very much. Or Cameron.
They don't have anything to do with it.
New demand letter claiming video of Nancy and the kidnapper. TMZ has received yet another email from a person claiming to know the identities of the kidnappers, plural. And this time he says he has the video of the main guy and Nancy the day she died. Matter of fact, let's just put Harvey Levin up. I won't even read the article. I'll just put it up. So I'm going to get this up here. And we'll listen in. YouTube, let me get the video. How much is 1 Bitcoin worth?
Nah, screw it. We'll go all the way to the end. I'm getting antsy.
1.2 million, but you're going to get the 60. That's it.
Right. It doesn't make any sense. Why do you only want 1 Bitcoin and not $1.2 million?
Yeah.
This guy just feels so confident sending these emails that he's not going to be traced. And so to me, they need to figure out how these people are sending, all these emails and we can't find out who it is. What if this was, a terrorist and he sent it into, maybe it was a higher level official that was kidnapped and they're just, we can't track an email. We don't know who it is. So to me, they need to either just call bullshit on these or like yesterday I went to X, I said, Harvey, release the damn ransom notes. Quit playing, release them.
Ted.
Why doesn't he just release them? Why does he got to keep them up like he's holding on, his favorite toy? Release them to the public.
Another thing I wanted to bring up. Hello, Ted.
What's up, 857? What's going on?
Stop sending TMZ these notes, Ted.
Yeah, Ted.
I'm kidding.
No.
I know it wasn't you.
I'm
But
kidding.
I was just trying to get Cubbies tickets. That's all. No, I'm kidding.
No, but another thing I wanted to say too is when y'all were discussing about the video, like they said is somebody come out and said that first video was from June 11th, but the one of the night of Nancy's disappearance was that night, and all that. But it's kind of strange how her Nest camera catches that first one supposedly on January 11th, you know, why didn't she call the police right away? Why didn't she call Pima County and say, hey, I called?
Because she probably doesn't have a subscription. We know that none of the cameras had a subscription. So I can't with this panel. I don't like half the people on here. There is something though that we can watch. Let me see. We're gonna watch a little Brian Enton. This is from 18 hours ago. I spoke with a scientist about the Arizona desert, how difficult it is to dig there, and what is left in the soil that could be very important when it comes to the Nancy Guthrie investigation. I think it's gonna prop up on YouTube. Yeah, here we go. Oh, I started. I guess I started watching a little bit of it. Okay.
Position and what that looks like.
I don't remember, but all right. I am so tired. I had to get.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
Hey guys, thanks so much for checking out my show. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you to everybody who supported my content and subscribed. I'm in the airport right now. I'm actually connecting in between flights, but I wanted to do this episode for you guys because I've been working on it for the last couple of days, and I think that it's relevant in light of everything that has happened this week, specifically when it comes to these ransom notes and the information that we've been able to gather from the notes, specifically the second note, when the person wrote that Nancy was dead, but also buried with nature now. And I've done episodes in the past about the desert, about the conditions in Tucson, in and around Tucson.
Yeah, there's no way Nancy could have walked, like, gone outside of her property, like behind, outside of the fence. There's no way that she could have walked through that. She would have been tripping. I would be tripping. Yeah, he's got a video of like how the terrain is and stuff like behind Nancy's house. You definitely need to go watch it.
Arizona, about how difficult it would be to find somebody out in the desert. Some of this stuff is difficult to talk about because, look, I want to be sensitive to Nancy Guthrie's family, and it's an active investigation, but at the same time, I did want to take a scientific look at what law enforcement is up against when it comes to
This dang camera literally points down this way and like right into the driveway. So this camera, if somebody walked up from the driveway or even, let me see here.
Desert, when it comes to bodies in the desert.
I didn't pan over enough. Yeah, it's like right through here. So it would have seen at least headlights. Or if somebody walked up, it would have seen somebody. So I think they came in from the other side over there.
Desert, when it comes to what happens to bodies when they are left out in the desert. Also, how difficult it is to dig in the desert. And I don't think that that's something that I realized. I'm from Florida. But in this episode, you're going to hear with the expert who I speak to, it's very difficult to dig in many parts of the desert in Arizona. When you go down several inches, I am told it's almost like digging through concrete in some areas. So the idea of a grave and someone being buried out there could be very, very difficult to actually pull off and do. So is there a chance that Nancy Guthrie was just left somewhere and is not beneath the surface? And you're going to hear the expert that I talked to explain that that is a possibility. Her name is Dr. Pamela Marshall, and that's who this interview is going to be with in this episode. She's a professor at Arizona State University. She has a PhD in cell regulation. And we've heard of body farms before, and I talked about body farms with Maureen, my retired yesterday. You know, FBI has a body farm where essentially people donate their bodies for research. And
do you guys want me to like look around and see if I can find anything like on body farms? I mean, I'm a morbid person. Like, I love like knowing as much as I can about the dying process, but I can look around and see if I can find a video. Like, I mean, we're not gonna like see. I don't want to see anything. Like, that's no. But maybe somebody talking about it or blurring out, you know, people that are, you know, laying there or submerged kind of thing. If you want to, let me know. If not, no worries.
And the FBI studies the way that the bodies decompose. And Dr. Marshall is doing a project that is similar to that, but they actually use pigs and they put the pigs in human clothing, and it's very specific to Arizona, which is why I was interested. And they are
Oh, there's a body
studying
farm in my state.
how the decomposition happens in the Arizona desert, and if a body is moved multiple times, what sort of bacteria and DNA is left behind, which I think is relevant when we talk about the big picture of the Nancy Guthrie investigation. And this is going to be kind of a scientific episode. If you guys remember, a couple months ago, I did one similar to this with DNA. I was actually with a professor also from ASU, where I wanted to go deep into how DNA testing worked. And this is going to be similar. Some of the stuff is very scientific, and I try to have her explain it. But again, I think it's important because of the bigger conversation we're now having, because of these ransom notes, and because this happened in the middle of the desert. And
if your hair gets greasy 24 hours after
I
washing, that
googled
is not
putty farm
normal.
near.
Your hair gets oily super fast. Like,
again, what is law enforcement up against when it comes to the conditions in the desert and a body? So I want to play for you guys my full interview with Dr. Pamela Marshall. Dr. Marshall, thank you for joining me. I really, really appreciate it. I was really interested in talking to you just because I've been covering the Nancy Guthrie case really since that whole thing unfolded in Arizona. And you may have seen, you know, we've been reporting about the second ransom note that said that Nancy Guthrie was dead. And there's just a lot of intrigue into the desert and bodies in the desert. I know a lot of bodies have been discovered in the past in the desert. And a lot of people said, oh my gosh, with the desert, you'll never find someone out there. And even if you do, you know, it's such a harsh climate. It's even hard to find remains. But you've actually studied this. What can you tell us about actually finding remains in the desert?
All right, people, buckle up. We're about to get educated. I would trust this woman. She's a professor, PhD. So let's buckle up and put our learning caps on today.
Yeah, so let me give you a little bit of background. I am a faculty member in the New College of Interdisciplinary Arts and Sciences and an affiliate faculty member in the School of Interdisciplinary Forensics. And my forte really is engaging with and having like a ton of fun with undergraduates. And so I do research almost exclusively with undergraduates. So if an undergraduate student comes to Arizona State University, they often are interested in performing research, you know, just to see what it's like and to see what they can do. And so what ended up happening was that there was an undergraduate student who was really interested in microbes, and she was an undergraduate student who was a major in forensic science. And so she was trying to determine how to integrate microbes into her Barrett, the honors college thesis. So we spoke a lot with another colleague of mine named Dr. Caitlin Bolhoffner, and also Dr. Ken Sweat, and we came up with a project that had been initiated by Dr. Bolhoffner. She is interested in looking at decomposition in the desert. Now, one would think that, oh, well, decomposition is decomposition. There's hundreds of papers across the literature.
Look at all this. Look how covered this is just by the road. Like all like these things right here and these little plants, and then you got trees. That's all behind Nancy's house. And then you got like rocks and stuff that are kind of flat, but they're up a little bit. You could trip over them. It's just not a forgiving area.
Literature about how decomposition works, but most of those papers are not done in the desert. They're actually done at body farms where people can donate their bodies and then look at how, and then scientists look at how decomposition occurs. And there's not one of these body farms, hopefully yet, in Arizona. We'll get one. And
oh, let me see here. You think it's an inside job? I want to hear what your theory is about it. Definitely I want to know.
And so Dr. Bolhoffner is a anthropologist, a forensic anthropologist. And so she was interested in decomposition as well as looking at it in the desert, because what she's told me, I'm more of a laboratory rat, and what she's told me is that you will often find areas where people have thought about burying a body, and they go and they start to dig, and then they hit, I don't know if you've ever dug in Arizona before, but it's just very, very difficult. And so they'll dump a body and then they'll potentially want to come back. And so she was interested in looking at bodies that had been dumped and moved. Now, we don't just do that with, some human being that we find. Right now, we use pig models instead. And so she took 2 clothed pig models and placed them, one under a mesquite tree and one out in the sun, and then moved them.
So when you say clothes, so I just want to make sure. So
Yeah.
so dead pigs
With
that you
clothes
put
on.
in humans' clothing?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah, they're kind of cute. Well, at the
Yeah.
beginning.
They're kind of cute.
And then what she was interested in is looking at the decomposition and what that looks like in the desert with a body on top of the soil. But what the student was interested in and what I was interested in is going to where the body had originally been placed and asking the question, over a year later, is there any difference in where that body was placed, the soil underneath, or has it, after over a year, because it was over a year, or after over a year, does it look similar to the soil next to it? And so this was the experiment that the undergraduate student did, was go back to the initial site of the body placement, and the bodies were there for less than 5 weeks. This is just slightly north of Phoenix. So the bodies.
So it's a
Wait, so why would let me see. So if he has access to all of that and nothing to do with it, then why not come forward and collect their reward? Exactly. He wants 1 Bitcoin, which is only around 65,000. There's different variations online right now. He only wants that, but he won't take the $1 million reward. I think the TMZ ones are complete bullshit and fake. Okay. Back to my question. Why would you move a pig's body, have it lay there for a few weeks, and then move it? Anybody who unalives somebody and they dump them, they alongside the road, they bury them, they don't go back and move them. So this test that this girl did is completely false positive stuff going on. Like, that's my opinion. I wouldn't move it.
pig body. Sorry to interrupt you. I just want to make sure.
Go ahead.
So it's a pig body in human clothing that you placed in a spot in the desert for 5 weeks, and then you
Yes.
moved it.
Yes.
And you're saying you were interested in going back to the spot where it was originally.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, yes. And so we went back to where the body had been originally. And the body, again, was only there for 5 weeks. It was in the late spring.
You can't compare this pig laying there for 5 weeks and then moving it. And let's say it's there for the rest of the remainder of a year. And in the second spot to if Nancy was out in the desert. You can't compare that because she hasn't been gone. She hasn't been gone for a year, because that's what they're basing their research off of, is a year. You can't compare it. But I mean you can, but you can't because you've moved it and it hasn't been a full year for Nancy. So
And so the soil where the body had been placed went through a summer, and you know how the summers are now very dry. There was very little precipitation. So it was a summer, a fall, a winter, another spring. And so the student was interested in looking at that soil. Is there anything different about that soil where the body was placed and soil around it? Because we didn't take soil initially before the bodies were there. And so the student went and sampled soil, and then we asked a couple of questions. The first question was, are there any differences in any elements that are in the soil where the bodies were, so
She's
elements,
boring, by the
carbon,
way.
nitrogen. And then also, are there any differences in microbes? There's been a lot of interest in the microbiome, the human microbiome, this.
You can't get full results if the body wasn't laying there for the full year. Because even like I know I don't want to say I know because I'm not like a mortician or scientist or anything. But if a body is laying out in the desert on top of the ground for a year, that heat pretty much mummifies them is what it does. It just sucks all the moisture out. But if there is moisture, like let's say they put Nancy on her back on top of the ground in the desert or in that area or Mexico, I would assume any moisture on the back because it's not getting direct sun is going to seep into the ground. So that's got to lay there. She would have to lay there for a full year before they can, go and test the ground like they're testing with the pig. Like this is not I would not do that. I wouldn't because there have been some murderers that have moved bodies. It happens, but it happens than a lot less than somebody friggin' just dumping somebody and going on about their life. So, I don't know. This is driving me nuts.
Microbiome to that microbiome. And so there are, there are lots and lots of papers about the necro microbiome, but again, not in the desert.
And what is that? I don't even, what is the microbiome?
Yeah. So the microbiome is just the collection of all of the bacteria that you find in an area. That's a little bit of a simplification because if your viewers had watched Professor Stonehouse's video, then they know a little bit about DNA extraction.
Yeah.
And so the way that microbiomes, or asking the question, what microbes are in this sample, we also extract the DNA and then do similar steps to what Professor Stonehouse discussed. And then there are very powerful computing tools and some AI that will then tell you what microbes are there in that, what microbe DNA was there. They could have been
I'm sorry, but I am not book smart. I'm street smart. But somebody married this lady. She's so boring. I bet he's boring too.
Alive or not alive in the soil.
And
Yes.
so what did you find? So after 5 weeks, you test the soil. First of all, could you even tell that anything was there at that point? Like,
yeah. So it was 5 weeks plus about a year.
oh, plus, wow. Okay.
Wow. So 5 weeks plus a year.
Okay.
No, we really couldn't tell that anything was there. It just, looked like any sort of desert soil, but it had been marked by Dr. Bullhoffner. So the student collected the soil and then did the analysis. And when she brought, and my hypothesis was a year in the desert, nothing's going to be there. You have, and that's fine. Negative results are really important results. And well, you know what? I was wrong. The student actually was correct. And when she showed me the data and showed me that the soil that had been where the pig had lain for just, 5 weeks was very different than a surrounding soil where the pig had never been, I almost fell out of my chair.
Oh my God. The soil where the pig laid, I'm assuming it on its side, all of that moisture that's in the pig's skin, plus this, I'm about to nerd out on you. When you immediately when your heart stops, your body starts to break itself down immediately. So moisture in the pig's skin cells. I'm trying to think. How do I want to put this without grossing people out? It would be when I say your body starts to break down, it starts to decay, pretty much. So all of that, I'm trying to keep it so I don't gross you guys out. Mush. Let's call it mush. everything becomes like a nasty, soupy, just bleh, mixture of bacteria, blood, um, maybe skin, but like more. I'm trying to think of the inside of the body, like your fat and your meat on your bones, kind of thing. It just becomes like one goopy like soup, and all of that will seep out because think about it. If a pig is laying on its side out in the desert, I'm assuming 5 weeks for it being in the one spot for 5 weeks. The gas that will build up inside the pig's body. I'm sure we've all seen roadkill and what happens after it explodes. But that gas in your body is going to build up and build up, and the pig's going to swell up, okay? And then eventually, with the body breaking itself down, plus heat, maybe like coyotes or scavengers come and they take like one bite out of that pig. That's all. That gas has got to go somewhere, and so does the liquid. And I can see it like seeping out, whatever, into the ground. So you have a mixture of, um, okay, let's go, water, skin cells. You know, we shed our skin cells every day. You've got blood. You've got bacteria. So she's trying to say that she didn't know that that was going to be in the dirt. I don't know. Like this lady just blows my mind.
I was I was astounded. I thought it was just fantastic because intuitively I was wrong, thinking, a summer and a fall and a winter and a spring in Phoenix, everything was just going to die. And I do need to put a plug in for the Arizona State University DNA sequencing core that did all of the sequencing and the analysis. And so they were very, very helpful.
So was it that pig's DNA in the soil?
No, it wasn't. It was the bacteria.
It was the bacteria from the decomposition?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So applying this to the real world, if there was a person that was killed, that was dumped in the desert, and then someone went back out to move them again, a year later, could they find evidence there? Does this mean that they could find evidence that the person was there?
Yes, absolutely. So with this first study, which was a proof of concept study, we've shown that if you have dumped a body in the desert and left it there for, we did 5 weeks, and then they moved it somewhere else. If you had a good idea of where you were looking, can take that soil, extract DNA, do analysis, and then show that it is statistically significantly different than surrounding soil, you can absolutely say, yes, there was a body here because it had a specific microbial signature.
I said all that.
Furthermore, with the help of Dr. Ken Sweat, we also did elemental analysis, so looking at elements, and there were some differences in the chemical elements as well.
How much did the pig, and look, I feel bad talking about this because we're obviously, the reason I'm doing this is because I'm covering a story about a human. So I do feel kind of, but this is science. I mean, it's important. I mean, this is science. I mean, and police have to deal with these things. But how much did the pig decompose in the desert after 5 months?
Oh, 5 weeks?
5 weeks. I'm sorry. Yeah, 5 weeks before you moved it.
They are really very mummified.
Mummified, yep.
They are still identifiable as a pig. The clothing is still on them, but they look very
black and gross. Yeah, we don't need to prove that. Obviously, she does. This woman's an. Come on. Oh my God, there's another one. At least this one's fast.
Dried out and leathery, sort of sorry, my email.
But identifiable.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely identifiable. Yeah.
And just so people, because I think people are probably thinking this, watching this, you guys didn't kill the pigs, did you?
No, they were obtained from a slaughterhouse.
Okay. Um, so when you moved the pig after 5 weeks, where did the pig go? To a different spot in the desert?
Yeah, the pig went to a different spot because Dr. Bolhoffner was looking at other aspects of the decomposition.
And what did you find then at the second location?
At the second location, the soil where the pig had been left was quite similar. I shouldn't say quite similar. It was statistically significantly different from the soil that didn't have the pig. It had different components in it and different bacteria in it. And the reason why was that the pig was still there. And so it was still actively decomposing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
So
think
you went back.
I don't think the second location would have more, let's just call it soup, human soup in it than the first location would. Because if they did the 5 weeks and the pig was pretty much mummified, but still recognizable as a pig, and then they moved it, it would still look the same, but it's still actively decomposing, as she said. So it means it's still letting off bacteria, it's still letting off dead skin and all that stuff.
Back after a year and you were able to find bacteria connecting back to the pig, even after a year in the desert and the pig wasn't there for a year.
Correct. Yes. And elements also.
And elements.
And other people have shown the elements as well. So
how long? So you went after a year, but what do you, just based on what you've learned, and I know you might not know the exact answer to this, but if you went back after a year and a half, if you went back after 2 years, do you think you would have had the same result? Do you think you would have still?
So we actually followed up and went back again. So after a total of over 2.5 years, and what we saw was that the soil that was under the tree was no longer showing the microbial signature, but the soil that was just out in the sun actually still had relatively, I shouldn't say relatively, we haven't done the statistics yet, so I can't say statistically. No, I did do the statistics. I did principal component analysis. So we had the 2 pigs, one under a tree, one just out in the sun. The soil where the pig had been placed in the sun was still statistically significantly different than the soil around it. Under the tree had gotten back to the what we call the control soil.
Why is that? The sun. What does the sun have to do with it?
So what we actually think is that it has more to do with the tree, that it's a mesquite tree, that it's dropping leaves, that there would be a much more active bacterial community under that tree and more potential invertebrates, and maybe even more animals going under that tree. So changing the microbes and interacting with the microbes.
Okay, interesting.
Huh.
And you mentioned something at the beginning that you didn't bury the pig because it's so difficult. Like people wouldn't, I think you said wouldn't do that. Can you explain? I mean, I'm from Florida, so I don't know a ton about the desert.
Somebody suggested, I can't remember where I seen it at, but somebody suggested if you have a backhoe out there, it would be easier to use a backhoe than to shovel because of how hard, how there's no moisture in it, the rocks. Yeah.
Desert. What do you mean by that?
I also am not a soil expert, but my understanding in Arizona is you have a very thin layer of topsoil. And then after that, we have We have a totally different type of geological soil composition called caliche, which is really like trying to dig into cement.
After the first top part, after the first like
Yeah.
6 inches,
Yeah, I'm not sure how many inches, but yes.
literally like cement.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's very, very difficult to dig in.
So going back to Nancy Guthrie, and I know, look, that's not your expertise by any means, but I just want to look back at what I was able to report and get the wording right. But basically, the person who wrote the note said, "Buried with nature now."
The
Dang it,
perfect
come on,
domain
I'm
tells
into
your
this.
brand story. Grab it now on Wix Domains and go.
Which made me think, if the note is true, buried in the ground, but I guess that may not be the case based on what you're. I mean, maybe it would have been very difficult to bury someone.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, typically, I mean, unless they've put a body in Arizona somewhere very disturbed, because like my yard, would have been dug up for the pool and, soils brought in and so forth. I would really think that would be a misnomer, because it's really very, very difficult to dig in this type of soil, as far as I understand.
So you're saying in an area that's already been disturbed, where like they've dug for construction or something,
Yeah.
that might be easier. But just out, like when we were driving out in the desert, that's the area where it'd be like impossible almost to dig.
Yeah, unless you had a, skid steer or something.
Yeah.
Hey, backhoe.
And how long ago did you guys leave the pig when you moved it after the 5 weeks? I mean, how long has the pig been in the other spot? Is this a long time ago?
We did it in 2003.
Okay, so it's been a while.
Yeah, we actually received a small internal grant from New College. Thank you very much, New College, to redo these experiments and do a more consistent time course. And so we're actually in the middle with several undergraduate students and also a student from Maricopa County Community Colleges, Glendale Community College. We're in the middle of experiment with many more time points, and we're also collaborating with a statistician as well to help us do some time series analyses. So
with more pigs?
More time points and more pigs. Yeah.
Okay. Have you started that yet?
Yeah, we started it month and a half ago.
So the pigs are already out
Yeah.
in clothes.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, the reason why you clothe them is, because we are also interested in the decomposition. And so the clothing, many times individuals are clothed. And it actually turns out something very interesting. I recently learned, this is not something that I have done, but clothes themselves can leach chemicals and elements into the soil. And depending on what an individual is wearing, you might be able to get an elemental or chemical signature from those clothes.
What do you mean by that?
For example,
I know the question.
If you are looking at certain types of synthetic fibers, as they break down, they would leave certain chemical traces in the soil, that you would never see.
So you could actually trace someone being somewhat left in the desert somewhere, and even if they were moved, possibly through the clothes that they were wearing, even that would absorb into the soil.
Yes.
Wow.
I wanna preface this a little bit with some of the experimental technique. When you see something on TV, they will say, "Oh, we're going to test the blood," and then all of a sudden, poof, they found some very, very random and very unlikely chemical or compound. The way that the analysis typically works is you have to know what you're looking for. You can't just say, oh, well, I'm going to just run it through this magical machine, and then the magical machine is going to tell me. You have to say, oh, well, I need to look for arsenic, or I need to look for polyester fiber breakdown.
Okay, interesting. So I was reading, that there's thousands of people who have gone missing in Arizona. Even when I was out in Tucson for quite some time, I would hear over and over again from like some of the deputies that I got to know, oh yeah, like if you go look in the desert, like you will find bodies at some point or remains, whether it's from migrants crossing or just missing people. Like that, I guess, like a thing in Arizona. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was going to say, yes, we have a Missing in Arizona Day where we bring together families who are looking for individuals and experts. And it's a really great day because there is no judgment about why the person is missing or whether, they were unhoused or they were or were not on a specific permit or anything like that. It's just a fantastic humanitarian day to bring together individuals who are missing their loved ones and looking for them. So it's Missing in Arizona Day.
So is that why you did this study?
The reason why I did this study, truthfully, was that the student was looking for a project and it sounded really interesting to me. And I had been interested in microbes and the way microbes were interacting with different decomposition. And also, truthfully, I really enjoy collaborating with Dr. Bullhoffner and Dr. Sweat. They're just really two amazing
Yeah, I guess I was just trying to understand, because to me, I think I see the real world.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Way. I mean, especially even just thinking about the Nancy Guthrie case or these missing people, it seems like what you're learning could apply to these investigations.
Yeah, yeah. We are, like I said, we are repeating this experiment to understand a little bit better. It was a n equals one time. There are lots of other studies that show that microbes, of course, are left there and that elements are left there. I'm going to do it again, make sure that it's consistent in the desert. And these analyses are not difficult to do. There are many different DNA genomics cores that can do the microbial analysis, and then the elemental analysis can either be done in-house. You can get a couple of different instruments to do it. We did it in-house. Dr. Sweat did that analysis. So,
could law enforcement do this?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, an X-ray fluorescence machine that we have. Oh gosh, when we purchased it, I think it was about $100,000. They're probably about 250,000 now. But I mean, that's, I mean, there are also, companies, or we could potentially collaborate as well to look at this. I think that the most important thing is going to be, having someone who understands the literature and understands, what everybody else has seen. And so then when you get a result, it's like, yes, that makes sense, or that doesn't make sense. Let's talk about this for a bit.
So is there a way, if they're analyzing the soil, is there a way to tell if the bacteria is from an animal or from a human?
Yes, actually, there is. The reason why we use pigs is because we don't have a body farm in Arizona, and so you can't just leave someone out in the desert. The pigs that we used are about 120 pounds each. They are about this, size of a typical.
And my mic was muted. So supposedly TMZ is going to be going live talking about this new note, and I've been trying to find it. It says details at 10:30 a.m. PT time. I'm on Eastern time, so I'm like, where the hell is this live at? Should have started already.
Human, and we put human clothes on them because they're the correct size. There are some studies that have been done to look at the differences between putting animals and putting humans out. All of those studies, again, have been done in these body farms that are not in Arizona. So it would be fantastic if we could understand a bit better here in Arizona. The one thing about those bodies and those analyses that could be problematic, I've been told by Dr. Bullhoffner, is most of the time the individuals who so fantastically donate their bodies to science, have lived a long, fantastic life. And so they are typically more elderly, and
I should be napping.
the applicable.
No, friggin' I wasn't gonna go live today. I had an eye appointment this morning, and my stomach is just kind of just messed up. Like, I'm not feeling too good today. But then I seen this, and ransom note number 6 popped up, and here we are. That's what I'm doing.
Ability of microbes across age is right now being looked at, because as individuals age, the skin changes, the chemistry changes, and so
We have got to the point where literally anybody can build a fully working app without knowing how to code. This is
individuals, scientists would need to understand a little bit better if the analyses from the people at the body farms is applicable across the lifespan. But that's a long answer to your short question, which is yes, there are ways to tell the difference between animals and humans.
The pigs that you were using, Dr. Marshall, you put in like cages so that I guess like scavengers, animals couldn't come and take them away while you were trying to do the research. But in the real world, if a body was dumped, that there wouldn't be a cage, and an animal could do that and they could scavenge the body. If that happened,
Learn to code. That's what my son's doing. He's going to school for computer programming. Does he remember any of it? No. I'm like, dude, you need to pay attention.
would you still be able to find traces in the soil?
That is a really interesting question.
Gosh, she's so boring.
Will
She make me
have
tired.
to speculate that it's really going to depend on how long that body.
Oh, shit. I've seen some things you've posted. I'm like, what are you doing? I didn't want to say anything. I'm not getting in the middle of that, but I see everything, but I haven't seen that. I'll have to go look.
Has been out there. If it is completely mummified, then it will have much less of an active microbial community and microbiome, and have much less leaching of liquids into the soil, and that's how the elements are left. So it's really going to totally depend on how long that body was initially at the first spot and then at the second spot.
Really, really appreciate Dr. Marshall for taking the time to talk with me. Again, I find it very interesting to talk to these experts who are real experts in their field, and can really explain to us the scientific side of things. I was very, very interested in it. So I appreciate her for taking the time. I appreciate ASU. And I'll keep you guys posted if there are any developments. I've been on the road, working a bunch of News Nation stories the last couple of days, but I'm staying on top of everything. And I'll keep you guys posted if I learn anything.
We get it, Brian. We get it. We get it. Like, I'm surprised I made it through that. That lady was boring. I'm trying to keep an eye over here. on if TMZ going live. They are live, but it's some girl just talking.
Long time ago, I had two other dogs, and
May they rest in power.
And I had a housekeeper who, on Christmas,
You made your housekeeper work on Christmas?
no, but she gave me a Christmas present.
Okay, there we go.
And she said, "Oh, open it up." I swear to God, this happened. So I open it up, and in front of her, and I look at it,
10:51
and
a.m.
it's like
Come on,
this
go live.
two-piece raincoat. And I thought I should like put it on.
Hold on, I'm checking this because it says TMZ live 22 minutes ago.
For 1 Bitcoin, he'll coin. On the next TMZ Live, a new demand letter in the Nancy Guthrie case. For 1 Bitcoin, he'll produce a video of Nancy and the kidnapper. On the next TMZ Live, a new demand letter in the
Oh, there we go. Details at 10:30 a.m. It is 10:51 a.m. there. Let's go. I'm a little spicy today again. What are they?
He's in two skis.
It's two skis.
I think
That's a good name
but
for a
look at the
dog,
way
two
he's
skis.
manipulating it. Do you see him
Like
lift his
drifting.
two skis?
And look at his boots. Oh my God, he's so
Oh,
cool.
see the way he lifted it?
Adorable.
Totally two skis.
He just said that he just thought it was
Great.
Is
Well, I'm
J-Rock
glad-
around?
Now that's settled.
I'm glad He's in a good mood this morning. I'm nervous.
What
so the problem is,
Boyfriend,
do they
I'm
want to? Are
nervous.
we
My,
blocking that people are getting
I
baptized?
need more.
Like, are we
well,
mocking
now I
people's
can't even.
religion?
Yeah, I just need a little more
Slack.
slack. Thank you.
Okay, it looks like
Oh
he's probably
God, you
getting
should.
ready,
That
maybe.
was, and she was hysterical. She literally, she fell on the floor.
I mean, yeah, if I saw Harvey
I mean,
let him
there's-
walk out in a
it's clearly like a
small
church. They
dog's
have
raincoat.
a stage
Two-
set up,
well, one was a German Shepherd,
and they have a band there.
If you are
singing.
saying
He
you
weighed 130 pounds.
a photo of it at least.
It's a revival. It's a
no,
church
thank
revival.
God.
It's a Bible revival.
I know what I'm getting you for your birthday.
Oh, it's a long time ago. And it was this red and yellow rain. It was,
That's great.
Seriously, you need to bring it here.
We were talking this morning a little bit about did you see the child, not to take down the
oh my
vibe
God.
completely.
Yes.
Dude, what is up?
But it's so interesting they're prosecuting the parents for this, which is.
It makes me happy. They should go to jail.
Okay, I have a question for you. So let's say it's not that extreme, but let's say and I think this is really interesting. Let's say a parent allows a child.
I have Wi-Fi.
To get morbidly obese to the point that they die of a heart attack at 8 years old.
Which is what happened.
Well, but there was this was really extreme.
Not good.
But if a parent allows a child to literally eat him or herself to death, should they be prosecuted?
Yes.
Yes,
Absolutely. That is neglect.
And then the question is,
Endangerment.
and so then the question is,
Oh, come on. They're probably like, not today, mate. Let me check their thing here. They're probably not live. Nope.
And we were saying, like, it's a bigger issue than just parents being bad parents. Like, you go to the grocery store, I want lettuce. Let me shell out $15 for a freaking salad when I could get French fries and a hot dog for $1 at Costco.
Well, apparently the kid wasn't even enrolled in school either.
well, yeah, but see,
like,
that's this is a really extreme case. I'm saying, what if it's not extreme? What if it is not extreme, but a parent just lets a kid, eat and not exercise and eat and eat and eat,
There should be
eat
like
himself into a medical.
There should be like a community service or like mandated program you have to go
No, I
through.
understand, but I'm asking, should there be? We've seen parents being prosecuted now for things.
Yeah.
When a kid gets a gun.
Yeah.
In this case.
Okay, I don't know. I guess if they go live, whatever, I'll jump back on. But yeah, I wanted to get on and share the news with you guys. I think this new note's fake. 100%. I don't know. Until I see proof, it is what it is.